Yes, lovely.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Please Try This channel. I'm Pindeni, and by the end of this video tutorial series we are starting now, you are 100% guaranteed that you are going to have your own personal snake game clone, because I'm about to show you how to do it the simple way. I'll be using the Armory3D Game Engine, but it doesn't matter what game engine you use, because I believe what's important are the procedures I'll be doing and the algorithms I'll be using. And if you can translate them into your own game engine's language, that will be lovely. You are going to have your own personal snake game clone. For those who are looking to start on Armory, this is a good place to start, because by implementing this game, we are going to learn variable declarations. We are also going to learn about functions. We are also going to learn about arrays. Very important basics, especially when we are starting our game dev journey. So I'm assuming you've already installed Blender and you have already set up your Armory SDK, and also you have chosen your favorite code editor, because I'm not going to cover that in this tutorial. If you haven't, you can check the link in the description below. There are links there. I've already covered those videos on installing Blender and installing the Armory SDK in my other video series, where I'm making my first Armory3D bullet hell indie game. You can also check that. So let's begin. In this video, we're just setting up our project, and we are also setting up the snake head. So now what we are going to do here, we are starting from here. First things first, we need to save our project. I've already created a folder called snake game. So I'm just going to go on File, Save, and then I'm just going to navigate in my documents in snake game here. And then I'm just going to select, I'm just going to write snake.blend, because Armory3D doesn't compile projects which are not saved. So we need to save it first. So there we are, snake game, snake.blend. And also we are going to set up our project settings. So let's go here on render. And then what we are going to do is to go on the Armory project here. If you have set up your Armory3D correctly, you should see this. Let me drag this so that you see what I'm going to be doing. From here, I want to enable the debug console, which will show us the performance and everything. So I'm going to enable it by clicking it. And then I'm going to close the Armory project settings, and I'm going to go on the Armory render path. And then I'm going to add the 2D or baked. So let's select this one. If there was desktop, you can just press the minus sign to remove it, and then you add 2D baked. We don't need shadows or all these things. We just need simple stuff. Now I'm just going to left click and drag this over here. Let me enable my screencast keys so that you see whatever keys I'll be pressing, right? So you can see them here so that you don't get lost. Now we are going to delete everything in this scene by pressing A and pressing X and deleting like this. And then I'm going to press number pad 7 so that I go in the top orthographic view. The reason I'm doing this is if you have seen the implementation of the snake game, it makes use of grids. So here in this world, we want to use the grids which are provided by Blender. You can see our Blender software has provided us with grids. So to do that, we are going to press Shift A, Mesh Plane. This will serve as the grid box so that it can be visible to the player. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scale it. So because as you can see, this plane covers 2 boxes, and I don't want that. I want it to cover 1. So we're going to scale it down half its size. So I'm going to press S, and then I'm going to press 0.5 like this. Now we have scaled it down so that it covers 1 box each. And you can see this box is at 0, 0. This is very important because we're going to start from there, and then we're going to drag the boxes. But for the case of player visibility, we are going to add material. So I'm going to go on material here. Let me drag so that you can see. And then add a plus sign here. It's a new material. And this material, we are going to name it grid material. Like so. Oh, I missed the spelling. L, like so. And then our grid, we want to make it maybe bluish, dark bluish. So I'm going to go on base color here, and then select blue. and then go a bit dark bluish. You can select your favorite color. All is well. Your favorite color. We can see as it is being rendered if it works. So, right. Lovely. So let me press Z so that I go into material preview so that you can see the bluish color. Now what we want to do, we are going to select this plane by left clicking on it and press tab. I'm going to press I to insert another face in this plane. And then I'm just going to drag a little. You can see here we have some faces which have been left outside. And then I'm going to go on face mode. I'm going to select these small faces by pressing shift left click on them like this. And we're going to make a material for them. So a new material, and this material we call it grid lines. Like so. And grid lines color will likely be black. So we are going to drag it all down there. And then we are going, while these faces are selected, we are going to press assign. And then we can see what we have here. We have some black outline there. And then I'm going to press tab so that I come out of edit mode. Now we need to apply a modifier. You can come here where there's this little spanner and press modifiers. The modifier I want is the array modifier. So let me zoom in. We want a grid size, I think, for our snake game to be fun. We are going to do 12 on the X and 12 upwards. So you can see there's a count here and there's a vector which shows which axis we are going to array our plane into. So make sure it's on X and it is saying 1, and then we can now count to 12. So let's go. And there we are on 12. And then there's this little arrow here. You can go and press apply so that you apply that modifier. Now we are selecting this plane again. We are adding the same modifier, the array modifier. This time on X, go and add 0 here. And then on Y, add 1. We are now going up. And then we are going to go again 12 boxes. So let's go 12 like this. And this is our grid, where our snake will navigate. Let's press this arrow and apply. Our grid is done. Now we are now going to set up our snake head. So what we are going to do is Shift A, mesh, and add a new plane. You can see it doesn't cover the grid the way we want. So we are going to do the same thing, scale it down by 0.5. The snake head now matches the grid, which is very, very, very important. So let's go here and rename it head. We are naming this object head. It's very important when we are scripting. And this head color, we need a material for it. So we're going to go new material. And this material, we are going to call it snake head. Right? Then we are going to go on the base color. You can choose your favorite color for your snake head. For me, I'm going to go darkish greenish, a little darker like this. So this is our snake head. So one more thing we want to do before we close this first video is we just want this snake head to span somewhere. Because right now, I don't want it to start here like the snake starts here and starts moving. I want it to start right at the middle. And I'm going to do it using a script. So scripting has come. But maybe we can add a few more objects for future purposes. So let's add the snake food. So we're going to Shift D this head, GX, and then I'm going to move it one space up. So what color should our food take? I think our food should be yellowish. So I'm just going, okay, what we need to do is come here on snakehead material and press here to make it a new material, a copy of that material. So there is this icon there. I'm going to left click it, and then I'm going to rename it to snake food, so that our work will be easier in future. And then I'm just going to make it yellow like this. And then also we want our snake to have a body. Like in the implementation of the game, the snake eats food and grows. So what I'm going to do is shift again any object. Let me select the head. Shift D, GX, and let's move it 3 grids there. This will be the color of our snake body. So I'm going to select it. Where is it? Head. All right, I need to rename so that doesn't do what it's doing here. Head 001. So yellow here, this head 001 is our snake food. So we are going to say snake food. This other one here, we are going to rename it to be snake body. So we're just setting up everything so it's ready. So snake body, I think as my snake grows, I want the body to align like the head. So I'm just going to add a light green to the body of the snake. Or I did the mistake of not copying material. So let's press Ctrl Z so that we undo that. I need to copy this material by pressing here, new material. And then we can now say this is the snake body. And then we add the light green so that it doesn't affect the head like it was doing there. And you can see the body is a bit light green. And then on the grid again, I want to do something. There's something I don't like. I want to scale this, let me select the head a little bit. So I'm going to press S and then just drag it a little so that the grid lines are visible. And then I'm going to go again on the food snake body, okay, snake body, and just scale so that it aligns with the box well. And then I'm just going to select the snake food and do the same thing, like so. So that the grid lines are visible. It's very, very eye-catching and I like to do that. So these objects, I think we're done with them. What I just want to do, if you can see here, these plane, the big grid here and these 4 boxes here, the planes, they are sort of like meeting at the same position. So I want the grid to go a little down. So GZ, and we go minus 0.5. So that it goes down a little, like so. You can see now that these planes are a little above the grid. That's what I want to do. It doesn't matter, after all, our game is 2D, so we are going to, it will align well. Now let's add a camera to our scene so that we control what the viewer sees. So Shift A to add camera, and I'm going to Alt R so that the camera just, we clear all the rotation on the camera. And then I'm going to go GZ, we're going to go up by 5. And then I'm going to press Z so that I see what's happening with the camera. The camera should go right at the center, so I'm just aligning it well, like so. Now, let's go on the camera settings here. And you can see it is saying perspective. We don't want perspective, we want orthographic. And let's go into the camera view by pressing 0. And then if you see here, this setting called orthographic, we're just going to increase it until we find the right view for the user as they play our game. And maybe I'll end here. I think that's wonderful. Now, the final thing to do with our snake setup is just to make sure the head spans at the center. So I'm just going to go GZ and throw these objects away, but making sure I keep them in the scene. Now it's time to script. And I don't know where I'll attach my script. For some, you can create an empty object and then you add your script. For me, I'll go on the camera and go here on object and go on Armory trace and add a plus. It's a hex script. And then it's a new script, which we are going to call snake controller. So this script is important because it will be the one just controlling the whole game. I'm going to press OK and edit script. So what we want here for us to conclude this video is to ensure our snake spans at the center. And here is my code editor. Code Studio is the one that I'll be using. And I hope the text is big enough for you to see. I'm just going to close this and press Ctrl B so that we are left with the script only. So let's talk about the script for beginners. What happens here is we have this package arm. There are these commented functions here which are very important, and the notify on init is like as our game is born, the script here will be the one that will be run. Like each time we start on a particular script, we are going to start here, and it's not a loop. It will run once only at the beginning of our game, and then it will be done. Then the notify on update is our loop. It will constantly loop through as our game is on our screen and trying to check for anything which happens. And then the notify on remove is like before you die, run this. So that's simply what's going to happen here. So we want the notify on init because I want it to just span the snakehead. So I'm going to go in and uncomment this. And then now it's time to add some scripting. Let's get our hands dirty with some code. So we want to span. So the way to do it in Armory is to go ion.scene. We call the scene.active. So we are calling this scene the active scene. And then we are just going to say span object. Which object do you want to span? So this one accepts 3 arguments. Arguments are sort of like the variables in the function. Which arguments does it accept? The first one is the name of the object we want to span, which is head. And then we go on, comma. And then the next one is the parent. We are going to say now. We don't want any parenting. And then the next one is the function, which will control the spanned object. So it's a function which will accept another argument, which we'll call head. And it's of type ion dot object dot object. Then we put our braces in like this. Let's put a semicolon to terminate this, very important. And now where do we want our head to span? Because our head is here, it is the one, this argument will take this object there. So what we are going to do is to say head dot transform dot lock dot set. So we are setting the location, and it's a function which accepts the x coordinate, y coordinate, and z coordinate. For the x, we want it to span well. Allow me to go and see my grid again. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think 6 will be okay because I want to span somewhere here. And then on the y, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go 6, 5 and see what happens. So on the x-axis, you are going to go 6. On the y-axis, 5. On the z-axis, 0. And to activate this, we are going to call head dot transform dot build matrix. We are now going to build our world again so that we see the changes. So very important again. So this symbol code should span our head each time our game starts. And let's test it and see if we can get any errors. I'll just clean it and then left click play so that it compiles. And there we are. You can see our grid, our game engine rendered what we asked for correctly. We have here our grid and we have our snakehead, which has been spanned at 6, 5. Lovely. On the next video, we are now going to move this head. So stay tuned on the next video. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please, if you are new, please do subscribe to my channel, like and share my videos. Thank you very much.